Okay, I'm sure you heard about Kate Beckinsale calling out Harvey Weinstein on his horrible behavior. He supposedly berated her for looking like a lesbian on the red carpet. Of course, she forgave him and went on and, starred in movies that he made money off of. But when asked why she was getting, when she posted her statement on Instagram, a whole bunch of people asked her, well, um, why did you wait almost 20 years to come forward? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? And she says, no one in the industry acted as if it was an outrage. So she tells somebody and then no one in the industry is acting as if it's an outrage. So there's a whole bunch of people who are empowering Harvey Weinstein, including me, including you. Every time you paid money or you went through a paid service to watch a Weinstein movie, Harvey made money. You supported him. So did I. I've watched a bunch of movies from Miramax. But within the industry, producers, executive producers, line producers, writers, other actors, just accountants, secretaries, just literally tons of people knew about Harvey Weinstein and his behavior. In Tropic Thunder, the part that Tom Hanks plays, like a real jackass type movie executive, is based on Harvey Weinstein. So everybody knew about Harvey Weinstein. Everybody. Nobody stopped him. They acted as if it was not an outrage. It's okay what Harvey's doing. We don't care. Why? Why? Where did Harvey get his power over these people? What power did Harvey wield over these people? Very simple. You already know the answer. Money. Money. So when Kate Beckinsale wanted to be an actress and make money, not just wanted to be an actress, there are plenty of actors, whatever you want to call them, that are as good as Kate Beckinsale at acting. Tons of them, literally tens of thousands of them, that can act as well as she can. But when you don't make money acting, you have to do something else. So she wanted to protect her money, her future with money. So what'd she do? She let it go. She didn't quit. She didn't quit acting. She didn't, do anything other than just tell a couple people, hey, Harvey's a jerk. And they go, yeah, we know Harvey's a jerk. Keep going. Because she wanted to protect her money. So he controlled all these people through money. And he was enabled by people who he made money for. And guess who's part of that? Walt Disney, the Disney company. In 1993, Disney bought Miramax. So every time Harvey made a movie, every time Harvey did anything, guess who made money? Disney and all the people at Disney. See, the thing is, you're not even going to know all the people at Disney that are making money off of this guy. You're never going to know them. You don't know who they are, but they're making money off of him. So they're not going to let Kate Beckinsale ruin that for him. So even if she had a real good point, even if her stories were completely true, which they probably are, people at Disney don't care. People in the industry don't act as if it's an outrage. They don't care. They don't care. And these are the people that you're supporting when you go spend your money on these movies. You have no idea who they are. And it's not just movies, it's corporations all over this country. Like the Sackler family who made a whole bunch of money off of fentanyl, people dying from fentanyl, people getting addicted to opioids. Who made a whole bunch of money? The Sackler family. You don't know that. You don't know that. Think there was a celebrity on the movie Friends. What's his name? The guy who got addicted to painkillers. You don't know who's making money off of that. There's a whole bunch of people making money. You have no idea how they act. You have no idea what they do. You have no idea their ethics. You have no idea their values. And you don't know, so therefore you don't know if they reflect your ideas and your values. Let's say you wanted to stand up for Kate Beckinsale. You know what, Kate? You're right. Harvey's a jerk. How could you stand up to Harvey Weinstein? How could you do it? Now, oddly enough, you do have the power to do it. You wouldn't watch any of his movies. You wouldn't pay any money to anybody who's doing his movies. You would say, I'm not going to this. And guess what? When Walt Disney doesn't make money off Harvey Weinstein's movies, guess what they do? They cut Harvey Weinstein. Every business model in this country is based off making money. If they don't make money, they stop doing it. If Harvey Weinstein, if everybody said, no, we're not going to watch Harvey Weinstein movies, guess what? He wouldn't be making movies. So you actually do have some power to stop Harvey Weinstein and people like Harvey Weinstein. Now, as I said, Harvey got his power and gets his power from what? Money. Money. There's an old saying, the root of all evil is money. Money is the root of all evil. And here you can see it because you have a whole network of people supporting Harvey because he's making them a whole bunch of money. So when he rapes somebody, they look the other way. When he calls somebody out, calls them horrible names, they look the other way. They let it happen. When he berates people they let it happen. When he yells at somebody, they let it happen. When he gets angry and throws something at somebody, they let it happen. When he assaults women, they let it happen. Because they're making money. That's how it's the root of the evil going on with this individual, which has now been, quote unquote, brought to justice. So if you look at money and what it really is, what is it? Why is money? So now we come to the conclusion, Harvey got his power from money. I think we can all agree on that. How does money equal power? In this country, money equals power. Why? Why does money equal power? When you look at money and the history of money, money used to be something that had intrinsic value, something that was valuable got turned into money. In this particular case, this is where your dollar comes from. Your dollar, the word dollar comes from this coin, one of these coins right here. It predates this a little bit, but this is a good example of it. This had silver in it. So people thought silver was valuable. So when they had a coin, it weighed a certain amount. Here's let me see if I can find it. Here's a chart that was made where you could look and see the value of the coin. Look, here it weighs this much, it weighs this much, it has this much value, it weighs this much. This one weighs this much, this one weighs this much. So this had a weight and a value based on its weight. And they actually cut it into parts and called these parts bits. So they cut it into 8 parts, and this was called a bit. And the whole thing together was called a dollar. So here you have a dollar, here you have a half dollar, here you have a quarter dollar, and here you have a bit. Nowadays it's a quarter dollar into a dime, into a nickel, into a penny. That's where you get the values. But like I said, if you took all this Voy Xu off the coin, Voy Xu is any line, dot, or symbol made by man. If you took these lines, these symbols off of this coin, it would still have value if you consider silver valuable. But nowadays, the money that Harvey Weinstein got all of his power from, the money that this guy got his power from, and people get their power from, your boss gets his power from money. Corporations get their power from money. Michael Bloomberg gets his power from money. Donald Trump got his power from money. The money that he is using for his power is literally nothing. It's a blank piece of paper that has Voy Xu on it. And the value changes on the paper by the Voy Xu. So this paper right here, because of this Voy Xu, is worth less than this paper right here because of this Voy Xu. And this paper right here, because of this Voy Xu, is worth more than this paper right here because of this Voy Xu. See, it's not the actual, there is no, see here, there's value to the silver. The silver weighs a certain amount. We consider silver valuable. Right here, this paper weighs the same amount as this paper, which weighs the same amount as this paper. The paper is no different. The paper, they're all printed on the same paper. Just like these coins were printed on the same silver. So the silver itself had the value. What value does paper have? Literally almost nothing. Literally almost nothing. It's the Voy Xu on the paper that makes it valuable. It's the Voy Xu on, this is all Voy Xu right here. Any line, dot, or color made by man. Look at all these lines. Look at all these lines. Look at these colors. And this is all printed up with dots. These little details right here, they're all little tiny dots that come together to form these lines. Look at these lines. Look at these colors. Look at these lines right here. We call these lines numbers. Call these lines letters. Look at this. This is all Voy Xu right here. That's what makes it valuable, not the paper. Paper doesn't make it valuable. Now, the question then becomes, so now we've got Harvey Weinstein getting all his power from this piece of paper that has this Voy Xu on it. Why is this Voy Xu so powerful? Why is this Voy Xu? Why do you do things that you do every single day? Think about what you do for money. If you were not getting paid to do your job, would you go do it? Most people would say no, okay? Most people, I think 80 to 90% of people would go, no, I'm not going to go do this quote unquote job unless I'm getting paid. So what is so powerful about this Voy Xu on this paper? It's not the paper. Like I said, this silver may actually have value. This paper does not have any value. So what is it about the printing on this paper that makes it so valuable? Violence. Violence. This paper right here is backed with violence. This paper would mean nothing if the United States of America, the quote unquote, the people in the government, we call it a government, but it's people who are claiming to be a government. If those people who are claiming to be a government did not back this Federal Reserve note right here with violence, this would mean nothing. This would literally mean nothing. If the people in this building, this is the United States Treasury, the people in this building were not backed by people with guns printing up this money, printing up this Voy Xu on top of blank paper, it would mean nothing. It would have zero value if it was not for violence. Think about it. Can you print this note up? Can you print up this note? There's only one institution in the world that can print this note up, and that's the Federal Reserve through the Department of Treasury, through this building right here, the U.S. Treasury. Those are the only people that can make this note. And if you make it, guess what happens? You get violenced. If you go somewhere and you just take this note from somebody without their permission, what happens? You get violence. So if you went into the Treasury and you just said, hey, you know what? I'll take a whole bunch of these notes right here. Just give them to me. And they don't give them to you. You just go, okay, I'll just take them out of your printer then. Guess what happens? You get violenced. Now, if you're in a business, what's your business based on? This note right here. This note. So if I walk into your business and I go, yeah, I'll take that coffee right there, and I'm not going to give you one of these notes for it. I'm going to give you another note for it. You don't have to take it. But if I hand you this note right here in the United States of America, and I say, take this note for that coffee, take this Federal Reserve note for that coffee, and you go, no, I'm not going to do it, guess what happens to you as a business owner? You get violenced. You will be violenced by people who call themselves the United States government. This note is legal tender. So if you don't take this legal tender, I can actually have a legal case against you. And every legal case in this country is backed with what? Violence. If you lose your case and I get a judgment against you and you don't follow the court's orders, what happens? You get violenced. So when you look at the value of money, if you look at where Harvey Weinstein gets his power, money, where money came from, something that had intrinsic value, something that was actually valuable outside of the Voy Xu printed on it. And then you get to a modern day state of this money where you have a blank paper with Voy Xu on it. The whole thing comes down to violence. This is why your whole world is ruled by people who are violent. This whole country is based on violence. Every single bit of it. So you wonder why you feel pressure? You wonder why you feel pressure to make money? You wonder why you feel pressured to have a job? You wonder why you feel pressure from your boss? You wonder why you feel pressure from the IRS? You wonder why you feel pressure from your teachers? You wonder why you feel pressure from your parents? Because of violence. The whole system of power in this country is based on money. His power and everybody else's power is based on money. And what is money based on? Violence. It's all based on violence. So what we need to do as people, if you want to escape this, you're never going to escape the possible money system. You're never going to escape it. Now, it could collapse and you could be free of it. But without it collapsing on its own, it's going to be very difficult to get out of. So we have to concentrate on ways that we can not use violence, that we can use a principle of nonviolence in how we act. And I don't mean just us at the bottom who are getting violence constantly by people like Harvey Weinstein, like Kate Beckinsale, who got violence by Harvey, and all his victims at the bottom, they got violence. There's no hope for us. We're going to continue to be violenced. We have got to ask the people who are violencing us to take the violence out of what they're doing. We have to get the violence out of the money system. We have to get the violence out of a job system. We have to get the violence out of everything. If we can get the people who I call the Black Death cult, who are controlling the world with violence, if we can get them to stop violencing anybody, not just us, anybody, they violence each other. Leaders all the time, and leaders are Black Death cult members at some of the highest levels. They violence each other all the time. They kill each other all the time. They violence each other nonstop. They've been doing it for eons, for tens of thousands of years. If we can get them to stop using violence against us, if we can get the violence out of the money system, if we can get the violence out of any business that we're in, we can exist in a place that is a lot more able to reflect our humanity, able to reflect something other than fear, something other than the fear of being violanced, into something more comfortable, something more livable, something more enjoyable. And so if we want to do that, we have to start on some kind of path of understanding where power comes from, how the power is based on violence, and how we take the violence out of that power. If we can do that, I personally believe that we could make an advancement in humanity.